members of the Pakistan Press Club, my dear brothers, Sajjad Haider Karim, Sajjad Haider Karim. It gives me great pleasure to be invited here to join amongst you all today in welcoming from Azad Jammu and Kashmir, a gentleman I had the opportunity to meet in Mirpur on one occasion, Chaudhry Zafar Anwar Sahab. Really a pleasure to welcome you here to Yorkshire, the United Kingdom, and I do so on behalf of all of those representatives who hold elected office in various guises, both public and party level, as a fellow Democrat, to be welcoming you here today in the city of Bradford. The topic in question is about the relationship, or the role rather, of journalism. I'm going to touch very briefly on that because there's two issues I think which are very pertinent to the British, Pakistani and Kashmiri community as to what we need to be doing in the current circumstances now. But firstly, based upon my own experience, I would like to say that I have had, when it comes to the Pakistan Press Club, I have had nothing but an absolutely positive experience over the last 17 years of active engagement with them here in public life in the United Kingdom. And that allows an elected public representative, a voice of the public, a politician, the confidence to know that when they are raising their voice, it is not going to be misconstrued or misrepresented, but the essence of what they are wanting to convey is going to be protected. And that then allows somebody like me to take that message from community forums to professional gatherings of this sort, all the way through to colleagues in council chambers, to national parliaments throughout the European Union, and indeed to the European Parliament itself. So I thank you for the tremendously professional attitude that has been displayed in all of your dealings with me, and I will certainly give testament to that at every opportunity that I have. Now, what do we need to do now as an overseas community? We have a particular circumstance that is operational here in the United Kingdom at present, in Europe, but alongside with that, we of course are seeing very real, momentous developments unfolding in Kashmir and in India and in Pakistan. So how are we going to best ensure that we put all of the tools that we have available to us to use to serve those purposes? Well, the first issue is pertaining to the whole issue of Brexit and the positioning of the United Kingdom into the future. Now, the issue in relation to that is this: that as the United Kingdom exits from the European Union, we face another challenge with that exit, and that is maintaining the unity of the United Kingdom itself. Yes. Our community cannot afford for the unity of the United Kingdom to be questioned in any way. I will explain why. Leaving aside all of the economic factors, leaving aside all of the social factors and consequences in terms of cohesion that come about from these abrupt shifts, I want you all to think about one thing. If we ever find ourselves in a situation that Northern Ireland and Ireland unify and Scotland separates, which country is going to allow England alone to maintain its Security Council seat in the United Nations? No one. And with the changing world dynamics, which is the one country that today is vying for a seat on the United Nations Security Council? It is India. So the biggest losers of disunity in the United Kingdom will not be the English people, it will not be the Scottish people, it will be the British Pakistani community. Because at an international level, we will surrender the most influential seat that we have, and who will we seat in its place and come home?
India. The
one country that is fighting against the rights of the Kashmiri people. We cannot afford to allow that to happen. And the second thing also follows on, once again, from Britain's relationship with the European Union. We as a country now, once we exit from the European Union, we are hoping that after the end of December onwards, we will be in a position to negotiate our own free trade agreements. Amongst the top 5 free trade agreements we want to negotiate, one is with India. Now, for the last 10 years, we had in the European Union ongoing negotiations between the European Union and India for a free trade agreement. That was blocked. And one of the reasons for the blockage was paragraph 46 in the negotiating mandate, inserted by a majority vote in the European Parliament, which said that human rights abuses in Kashmir must be addressed before the European Union can finalize a trade agreement between the European Union and India. So the question now arises, if our country, the United Kingdom, is going to carry out those negotiations now independently in its own regard, are we simply going to allow for that agreement to be finalized with the situation as it exists at this moment in time? Well, the answer to that must surely be no. We're not going to allow for this to happen. And we've got to get ready for both of these issues now. And this is where I appeal now to the gathered journalists and local elected representatives. Please ensure that our communities are much better informed about the consequences that are ahead of us. I believe we failed majorly in the EU referendum to convey what was at stake. Far too many people from the British Pakistani and the British Kashmiri community voted against our own interests. And that was a failure on all of our part. Me as a politician, and you as journalists. We find ourselves today now in a very difficult situation. Please, let's plan for the time ahead so that we do not repeat those mistakes. We may have whatever political differences or allegiances we have. In fact, for my party, I think I'm possibly the only individual in this room at this moment in time. But it is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Please take back the message that when it comes to the goodwill towards Pakistan and the issue of Kashmir, the overseas community will always stand as one.
Yes.
Once again, I thank my brothers for their very, very kind invitation. It has been such a long time since I had an opportunity to meet with so many good friends who I've known over so many years. And I just want to, before I finish, pay regard to the role of our local elected representatives. Javed Bhai, I have known for many, many, many years. I remember when he had hair.